y'all, welcome back to Nini's Texas Kitchen. Today we're going to make homemade cheesecake. Not that cheese pie stuff, the actual cheesecake. So the first thing you do is you start out with your crust. So for your crust, you're going to need 1 1/4 cups of graham cracker crumbs. If you have a food processor and you want to chop them up, it's about 9 of the double crackers. Okay, 1 package. And I did that earlier before we started filming. I went ahead and used my food processor and chopped my graham crackers up like that. And then you're going to need 2 1/2 tablespoons of sugar. And you mix that in to your graham cracker crust. Real good like that. You need a 9-inch springform pan that you grease. So I greased mine already, as you can see. And I used shortening this time, and I greased the whole bottom and the sides because whenever it gets done baking, I can run a knife along the sides to loosen it. All right, we'll talk more about that later. Then you're gonna, once you've mixed your graham cracker crumbs and your sugar, you need 1/4 of a cup of butter or margarine melted. And so that's half of a stick of butter or margarine, 4 tablespoons. So you melt that and then you mix it in to your graham cracker sugar mixture. Real good. You want to get them coated and sticky with the butter. You can use your fingers if you want to. I'm just going to use a spoon. Mix them up good and it starts to kind of turn crumbly and everything. Once you get that mixed real good where it's kind of sticking to itself, like that. Once it's mixed good, then you press it into the bottom of your springform pan. Because this is a regular cheesecake. It doesn't have the crust coming up the sides like if you were to buy your own graham cracker crust or whatever. To make one of the cheese pies, this is cheesecake, so it just has a bottom crust. So empty your crumbs in there evenly all around. If you have some left, scrape them out. Then you're just going to gently spread it evenly along the bottom and then press them down, making sure it's even as you can get it to form the crust. And they'll all stick together because of the butter. Okay. So I've got that all stuck down in there. I'm just going to wash the graham crackers off my fingers. Next, you make your filling. Now, while you're making your filling, go ahead and turn your oven on, preheat to 325. Okay. Now, you want to, about 1 hour to 2 hours before you're going to make your cheesecake, you need to let your cream cheese sit out at room temperature to get soft. You don't want it cold straight out of the fridge because it won't cream as easily and you'll have like chunky cheesecake. And you don't want that. You want nice smooth cheesecake. So you want 3 8-ounce packages of cream cheese. You want 3 eggs and 3/4 of a cup of sugar and 3/4 of a teaspoon of vanilla. So the first thing I'm going to do is add my cream cheese in to my mixer. And you can use a hand mixer in a big bowl if you don't have a stand mixer. It works fine too. I haven't always had a stand mixer. I've only had one for about 10 years and I've been cooking a whole lot longer than that. So, like I say, hand mixer works just fine. So you can go ahead and Add your sugar in at this stage. Lock your stand mixer down and slowly start to mix it. And then speed it up so that it will get combined. Start to mix really good. Then what you can do is take like a scraper and just push your cream cheese mixture down off the sides if it comes up on the sides of the bowl. Just so it'll all mix good with your eggs. And I just scrape it off on my beaters. Then you're gonna take your eggs and it's best if they sit at room temperature too while you're letting your cream cheese soften, just because it seems to work better to have room temperature eggs when you're baking instead of cold eggs straight out of the refrigerator. So you're gonna add them to your cream cheese and sugar mixture one at a time and mix in between each one. Mix just till combined. You don't want to overbeat a cream cheese cake, a cheesecake, because you'll have a more dense mixture instead of creamy if you over mix it. You want to mix it just till they're combined. After each egg, you mix it. Mixture got up on the sides, just use my scraper again. Scrape it all back down the center so that my mixer handle will catch all of it. Alright, that's combined now. Last egg. Okay, we'll mix that one in and then we'll mix in with vanilla after that. Scrape down again to make sure it's all mixing in good. Add my 3/4 of a teaspoon of vanilla. So I'm just going to do a little shot of 1 and that'll be close enough to 3/4. Use real vanilla. It always tastes better than that fake stuff. All right, it's all mixed. Beaters from it. I'll tap them off a little bit so you can get as much of the mixture as possible to go on your actual cheesecake. So you can see how creamy that looks now. So now I'm going to scrape it out into my prepared crust. Smooth it around to where it's evenly distributed over your crust, like so. Now, once your oven is done, and mine's fixing to go off, it's about 5 degrees later. Perfect. Take your cheesecake that you have prepared, put it inside, and then you're gonna cook it, bake it in there for about 50 to 55 minutes. The edges will start to look more done. The center will still look like it's slightly undone, but it'll start to look just set. And that's when you want to turn your oven off, because you don't want to leave it until it looks like the top is all the way done, because if you do, you'll overcook it and then it'll crack once it cools down. It'll still taste good, but you'll have a crack on it. So I'm going to set mine for 50. And then at 50 minutes, I'm going to check it and see what I think. And if I want to add another 5 minutes, I will. So that's the way I like to do everything. And just check it by turning the light on and looking. Don't open the oven if you're not sure it's going to be ready at 50 minutes. Okay? But at 55, you're done. Don't cook it longer than that. Okay? Unless your oven is like cold and it doesn't cook very hot. When it's done, you need to take a knife and run it around the edge, but don't take it out of the springform pan yet, because you have to let it cool inside the pan after you've scraped the edges for about 2 to 4 hours, and then you can pop the springform, take it out and remove it from the pan. And then it'll be ready to garnish with whatever kind of fruit you like. We're going to put strawberries on ours that have been mixed with sugar, so they're sweet. You can buy the canned stuff if you want to, but I hate that stuff. It's really gross to me. So we like using regular strawberries, or you can use cherries or whatever kind of fruit you like. So once it's done baking, we'll come back and show y'all what it looks like there. All right, our cheesecake has about 12 seconds left, and then we're going to take it out. I did go ahead and do it for the extra 5 minutes, so I did it for the full 55 minutes. So now I'm going to take it out. Looks pretty awesome. Turn off my oven. And now I'm just going to run a sharp knife around the edge. And now we just let it sit here for a few minutes, and then I'll put it in the fridge to cool the rest of the way. And then once it's cooled, we'll come back and take the springform edge off and show you the cheesecake. All right, y'all. We let our cheesecake cool for a couple of hours, and it's done. It popped out of the springform mold real easy. So now we're going to cut it up and enjoy some. Look at that. Turned out just right. Oh yeah. So we don't put the strawberry gel stuff on there. We like just regular strawberries and some sugar on ours. So we just drizzle some over the top. 6 likes extra. And it's done, and then we enjoy it. So let's do a taste test. Perfect. So if y'all like my video on how to make a homemade cheesecake and a homemade crust, please like, share, and subscribe my video. Thank you. We'll see y'all next time in Nene's Texas Kitchen.